Happy Friday, Razorback fans. You're one day away from Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, 6:30 p.m. kickoff on the SEC Network. It's going to be a freezer. I'm going to talk more about that later, but it's going to be cold. I was looking at the weather for kickoff, and it's supposed to be, I think, 32 degrees right at kickoff, and then it's only going to get colder from there. So it is going to be cold. You're going to want to bundle up, and congratulations to those of you who are not going to the game who get to watch it. And the heat, the warmth, and the comfort of your own home, that might actually be a better decision for Saturday's game. So you're listening to the Gridiron Hawks podcast. I'm Mason Choate. I'm the managing editor of HawgBeat.com, HawgBeat.com. No Robert Stewart, who's normally on this podcast. He's not with me today. He decided to go watch a hockey game in St. Louis last night. So I'm doing it solo today. So you get to listen to me, and it is the BetSaracen episode. So, excuse me. Every Friday, we talk about BetSaracen's lines, odds, and player props for the Arkansas Razorback football game. BetSaracen is the mobile sports gambling app for the Saracen Casino Resort. Go download it. You can get it on Apple and Google Play. It is a great sports gambling site. Excuse me. And it's great for all the Arkansas games as well. You get a lot of awesome player props. You didn't get the player props last week and the BYU game because of KJ Jefferson's injury last week. BYU, I don't know what happened there, but the KJ Jefferson injury led to no player props last week. He's still questionable. So there's player props for this week, but there's no KJ Jefferson player props, which makes sense. But we heard from Sam Pittman on Wednesday that Jefferson has taken most of the snaps in practice, and Pittman said he feels good about him. So if you're asking me today on Friday at 9:24 a.m., I'm going to say I think KJ Jefferson plays this game. I think that Arkansas found out against LSU. We kind of talked about this on Wednesday, but Arkansas found out against LSU that you probably want to play an 80 to 90% healthy KJ Jefferson over your other options. And so I would think KJ plays this game. We got confirmation that Warren Thompson did quit the football team, so he will not be playing for the rest of the season and ever in a Razorback jersey. So it's an unfortunate situation. You don't want to see a guy have to leave the team. We don't really know what happened. All we heard was that he quit. And so that's that. No more Warren Thompson, but you got to keep rolling with it. Sam Pittman said Jaden Wilson will kind of take that extra role that is, left by Warren Thompson. Jaden Wilson is going to take a step up. Redshirt freshman wide receiver. He's got potential. Haven't really seen it from him a whole lot in game. So let's get into these player props, though. We're going to make this a short episode. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Let me just pull up some of the odds and lines. So you look at it, Ole Miss money line minus 140, Arkansas is plus 120 in this game. Ole Miss is a 2.5-point favorite in the game as of the time of this recording. Could change. I think that's about right. We thought last week that LSU should be favored by more. We even, bought extra points, and one of our picks was LSU minus 6.5. Of course, that didn't happen. So you got to think at some point Vegas knows a little bit more than you. So I think that this line is probably about right. The over-under, 64.5. Well, this will take me into my first pick. I don't know if I have felt more confident about a pick all year long. Take the under in this game. The line's at 64.5. Take under 64.5. If you look at the past three games for both Arkansas and Ole Miss, and you average out their scores for total points over the past three games, it would equal roughly 50 points. It's just over. It's like a decimal point over 50 points. Ole Miss, over the past three games, they've averaged 27 points. Arkansas, over the past three games, they've averaged 23 points. That's including 41 at Auburn, by the way. So you add on the fact that the temperature will be below freezing for most of this game. The defenses are playing, some of their best football. We know Arkansas's defense is playing their best football all season. And you have a KJ Jefferson who's likely going to be less than 100%. He probably will be. And that's a perfect recipe for the under. It's just too many points. 64.5 is too many points. Take the under in this game. It's my favorite pick of the weekend. As I mentioned, these two teams not scoring a whole lot of points compared to what they were earlier in the season. Add on the temperature. Take the under. All right. You look at some of the player props. As I mentioned, no KJ Jefferson. So that's unfortunate for those who like to bet KJ Jefferson. Anytime touchdown. The only plus money you're going to get is with Matt Landers and Jaden Hazelwood, Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders. He's minus 225 for an anytime touchdown. So my second pick, and I'm only going to do 2 picks this weekend. I'm only doing 2. Here's the thing. HawgBeat, we're 5-11 on the year. We're due. We're due for an undefeated week, so I'm going to go with 2 picks that are absolute locks. My second pick, Matt Landers, over 16.5 or 60.5 receiving yards. So he just got to get 61, and this would have hit in each of the past 4 weeks. He's led the team in receiving yards for 6 of the 10 games this season, and I really don't expect that to change this week. He's been targeted over 5 times, just over 5 times on average over the past 3 games, and he's averaging 27.7 yards per catch. Last week, the 2 big catches on that one drive that Cade Fortin threw to him, that kind of inflates it a little bit. But we know that Matt Landers, he's a big play threat. He's probably going to catch a couple big passes. And I think that he's really that safety blanket for whoever's the quarterback, not just KJ Jefferson, but whoever. And so take Matt Landers over 60.5 receiving yards. As I mentioned, it would have hit the past 4 weeks. And he's led the team in receiving yards for 6 of the 10 weeks this season. So we've kind of seen Matt Landers. He's that guy. As far as the receiving core goes, I like his over in receiving yards. I don't really like a whole lot of the other player props, to be honest with you. I don't know how I feel about Jaden Hazelwood. Rocket Sanders, receiving yards, 9.5. He doesn't catch a whole lot of passes. Touchdowns are always risky. Rocket Sanders, his rushing yards line is set at 97.5. And so that's intriguing. Wouldn't have hit the past 2 weeks. We know that Arkansas has struggled to run the ball the past 2 weeks. From what I've seen the past 2 weeks, it makes me not want to take that. And that's one of the lowest lines of the season that you'll get on Rocket Sanders rushing yards. I just don't feel good about it. I really don't. And there's also Rocket Sanders rushing touchdown. Like his anytime touchdown was minus 225, I think. Let me go back. Yeah, minus 225. And then his rushing touchdown is minus 185. This is a guy who they don't give the ball to him very much in the red zone. So if I was to throw out a bonus pick that I'm not going to put on there to blemish our record, maybe take Rocket Sanders under half a rushing touchdown. So he just doesn't have to score a touchdown on the ground. It's plus 135. I mean, I should have pulled up the stats here. Let me do that real quick as I'm talking. This is bad radio. It's just with Rocket Sanders, he doesn't score a whole lot of touchdowns. We've seen all season. They don't hand the ball off to him in the red zone. Let's look at touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Let's see. He hasn't had a rushing touchdown since the BYU game. He had 2 rushing touchdowns there. He doesn't have a touchdown at all since the BYU game. So they haven't been handing the ball off to him in the red zone. We've seen them put Rashad Devinian in the red zone, AJ Green, especially if KJ Jefferson's in this game. We know that, they're one of their go-to plays is just like KJ bowl his way over everybody else. So that could be an intriguing pick for you. But everything else, I mean, they've got Ole Miss player props. If you're a big Quinshon Judkins guy, a Jackson Dart guy, plenty of stuff for them over at BetSaracen. Just download the BetSaracen mobile app, and you can make those bets on there. You can bet on all of the lines, not just for Arkansas football, but for everything, every sport. I bet on NFL last night. Aaron Rodgers, what the heck, man? Where you at, dude? Somebody has kidnapped Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what is going on with him. I should have known better. But BetSaracen, go download the app. Very thankful for their partnership with us. And we're looking forward to the Arkansas game tomorrow against Ole Miss. As I mentioned, 6:30 p.m. Central Time on the SEC Network at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Going to be a freezer. Put on your warm clothes. And make sure you go to HawgBeat.com, HawgBeat.com, to get all of the latest updates, information, and anything you need on Arkansas athletics. But for that, I'm Mason Choate. You've been listening to the Gridiron Hawks podcast.